The conference room door slammed open like a gunshot, and there I was, fumbling the remote in my sweat-slicked palm, my heart jackhammering as every eye in the boardroom snapped to me. "David, what the hell?" My boss's voice sliced through the tension, low and gravelly, laced with that signature edge that made my knees weak even on a good day. But it wasn't the slide deck that flickered to life on the massive screen. It was him, frozen in a grainy home video, shirtless and laughing in the arms of another man, their bodies tangled in a kiss that screamed secrets I wasn't meant to see. I froze, the remote slipping from my fingers to clatter on the polished oak table, the echo deafening in the stunned silence. Alex Hargrove, the man who'd built this tech empire from a dingy Brooklyn garage, stared at me from across the room, his steel blue eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that stripped me bare. The board members shifted uncomfortably, whispers rippling like aftershocks, but Alex didn't blink. He just reached over, snatched the remote from my hand, our fingers brushing in a spark that shot straight to my gut, and killed the feed with one deliberate press. "Meeting adjourned," he said, his voice steady as granite. But when his gaze lingered on me a beat too long, I swear I saw the crack in his armor, the ghost of that laugh from the screen haunting us both. That was the moment everything shattered. Or maybe it was the beginning of me piecing myself back together. I'd been at Hargrove Innovations for 6 months, fresh out of a nowhere MFA in graphic design from NYU, scraping by on freelance gigs until this gig dropped in my lap like a miracle. David Ellis, 28, eternal optimist with a portfolio full of half-baked dreams, and a closet full of skeletons I kept buried deep. New York chewed you up if you let it, and I'd been nibbling on the edges. Bar hops in the village, anonymous hookups that left me emptier than before, always chasing that spark I couldn't name, until Alex. He was 35, all sharp suits and sharper wit, with a jawline that could cut glass and a smile that deployed like a weapon. The kind of guy who commanded rooms without raising his voice, who built apps that connected millions but kept everyone at arm's length. Rumors swirled. Divorced? No, never married. Straight as an arrow? The tabloids said yes, but I'd caught the way his eyes lingered on the shirtless models in our ad campaigns. A flicker of something hungry. I told myself it was projection. My own crush blooming like kudzu in the cracks of my cubicle walls. Late nights mocking up logos for his pet project, Echolink, an app for anonymous confessions that promised to bridge the unbridgeable. Ironic, right? Here I was, confessing my sins to my laptop screen, imagining his hands instead of mine. The video I'd accidentally unleashed? It was from 5 years back. Alex's personal archive bleeding into the corporate ether because I'd grabbed the wrong damn remote from his desk drawer that morning. A sleek black one. Not the clunky presenter I'd meant to snag. In the clip, he was younger, freer. Tan skin glowing under some Hampton sun. His laugh booming as the other guy, blonde and built like a surfer, dipped him into the waves. They kissed like the world was ending, salty and desperate, and for a split second, I envied that abandon. Then the screen went black, and reality crashed back. The board's averted eyes, my face burning hotter than a subway platform in July. "David, my office. Now." Alex's tone brooked no argument as he strode out, leaving the execs to murmur their escapes. I trailed him like a condemned man, the hallway stretching endless under fluorescent buzz, my mind a tornado of apologies and what-ifs. What if he fired me? What if he outed himself because of my screw-up? What if that kiss on the screen meant he'd never look at me the way I dreamed? His corner office overlooked the Hudson, all glass walls and minimalist chrome, a shrine to ambition with one framed photo on the desk. Him and his sister at graduation, nothing more. He shut the door with a click that echoed like a gavel, then turned, loosening his tie with fingers that trembled just enough to notice. "Sit," he said, not a request. I perched on the leather chair, knees bouncing, while he poured 2 scotches from the decanter. Neat, no ice, the amber liquid glinting like liquid fire. "I'm sorry," I blurted, the words tumbling out before he could speak. "I swear, I didn't mean. I grabbed the wrong one, it was stupid. I'll resign if." "David." My name on his lips was a caress and a command, stopping me cold. He slid the glass across the desk, his eyes searching mine, stormy and unreadable. "You think I'd fire you over a remote? Over that?" He nodded toward the conference room, the ghost of the screen between us. I swallowed hard, the scotch burning a path down my throat. It wasn't my place to see your personal life. I get it if you're pissed. A ghost of a smile tugged at his mouth, bitter and broken. Pissed? Try relieved. He sank into his chair, the weight of the city pressing on his shoulders. No one's seen that in years. Not since. He trailed off, staring at the river like it held answers. His name was Jordan. We met in college MIT. He was the sun, David, bright, burning. We built our first app together, holed up in his dorm, coding till dawn and fucking like it was our last night on Earth. My breath hitched. He was talking to me about this. The air thickened, charged with the scent of scotch and secrets. What happened? I whispered, leaning forward despite myself. Alex's laugh was hollow, echoing off the windows. Life, ambition. I got the big offer in Silicon Valley. He stayed east for family. Long distance turned toxic. Texts at 3 a.m., accusations flying. Then one night, I fly home unannounced, catch him with someone else in our bed. Not just anyone. My best friend from undergrad. His fist clenched around the glass, knuckles white. Betrayal tastes like rust, David. Sharp and metallic. I deleted everything after that. Locked it away. Until you. I reached across the desk without thinking, my hand covering his, the warmth of his skin searing mine. I'm sorry. That sucks. All of it. Our eyes met, and in that suspended heartbeat, the office faded, the river, the skyline, the empire. Just us, two fractured souls orbiting too close to the flame. He didn't pull away. Instead, his thumb brushed my knuckles, a tentative stroke that ignited something feral in my chest. You remind me of him sometimes, he murmured, voice rough. The way you sketch those interfaces, all fire and intuition. But you're softer, realer. His gaze dropped to my lips, and God, I wanted him to close the distance, to shatter the professional veil we'd both pretended to wear. But he didn't. Not yet. Go home, David. Process this. I'll see you tomorrow. He stood, breaking the spell, but slipped something into my palm as I rose. A small, leather-bound journal, worn edges soft under my fingers. Read it, if you want to understand. I nodded, dazed, clutching the book like a talisman as I fled the building, the city lights blurring into streaks of neon confession. That journal became my undoing. Curled on my fire escape that night, the autumn chill nipping at my skin. I cracked it open under the glow of my phone's flashlight. Alex's handwriting spilled across the pages. Loopy and urgent. A chronicle of love's wreckage. Entries from 2018. Jordan's laugh echoes in the code we wrote today. Is this what forever feels like? Then 2019. He says I'm married to the job. But when he looks at me like that, pixels fade. The betrayal hit in jagged scrawl. Found them tangled in sheets that smelled like us. My heart's a glitch now, unfixable. Tears blurred the ink as I read, his pain mirroring mine. The exes who'd ghosted, the families who'd whispered phase over Thanksgiving turkey. My own story was tamer. Coming out at 19 to parents who hugged me tight but eyed me wary at every family gathering. Like I'd shatter their Norman Rockwell dream. I'd fled to the city for reinvention, but reinvention meant loneliness dressed in skinny jeans and craft IPAs. By dawn, I devoured half the journal, my chest aching with borrowed grief. Work loomed like a guillotine, but I dragged myself in, coffee in hand, avoiding the conference room like a crime scene. Whispers followed me. Did you hear about Hargrove's little home movie? But Alex's door stayed shut until noon. When he finally summoned me, it was with a curt email. My office. Bring sketches for Echolink V2. I knocked, heart in my throat, the journal tucked in my messenger bag like contraband. He looked wrecked, dark circles under his eyes, Thai askew. But when he saw me, a spark ignited. You read it. I nodded, sliding into the chair. Couldn't stop. Beautiful. Raw. I hesitated, then pulled it out, opening to a dog-eared page. This one, about the rooftop in Boston, stars like code unraveling. I felt it here. I pressed a hand to my chest, vulnerable as hell. Alex's expression softened, the CEO mask cracking. I wrote that after our first fight. Thought it'd end us. He stood, rounding the desk to perch on its edge, close enough that I caught his cologne. Cedar and smoke intoxicating. David, that video, exposing it like that, forced my hand. I've been hiding since Jordan, building walls higher than this skyline. But you saw through them without trying. Our knees brushed, electricity humming. I didn't mean to pry, I said softly, but I'm glad I did. Makes you human, not just the boss who terrifies interns. He chuckled, low and genuine, the sound warming me like sunlight. Terrify? That's my brand. His hand found my shoulder, thumb tracing the seam of my shirt. Deliberate now. Stay late tonight. Help me tweak the pitch deck. Off the clock. It was a line crossed, subtle as a whisper, but we both felt the shift. The afternoon blurred in a haze of revisions. Me at his side, our banter flowing easy, laced with subtext. This icon's too phallic, I teased, sketching a softer curve. Subtlety, Alex. Not everything needs to scream power. His eyes twinkled. Says the guy who doodles abs on his post-its. Heat flooded my face, he'd noticed. Of course he had. By 8 p.m. the office emptied. Just us and the hum of servers. He ordered Thai from the spot down the block, pad see ew steaming on paper plates, and we ate cross-legged on the floor, backs against the couch in his lounge area. Tell me yours, he said between bites, casual but probing. What's the wreckage in David Ellis's wake? I swallowed, fork pausing. Vulnerability wasn't my forte, but his gaze pulled it out like thread. High school sweetheart, straight guy, experimental phase. Broke my heart when he went off to college and found himself with cheerleaders. Then college. A prof who promised mentorship, delivered heartbreak. Now, just me. Chasing pixels and pretending hookups fill the void. Alex set his plate aside, shifting closer. They don't. Trust me. His fingers grazed my jaw, tilting my chin up, and time fractured. His lips met mine tentative at first, tasting of lemongrass and longing, then deepening with a hunger that stole my breath. I melted into it, hands fisting his shirt, the journal forgotten on the floor as we tumbled back, bodies aligning in a rhythm older than words. We didn't go further, not that night. He pulled back, forehead to mine, breathing ragged. It's messy. I'm your boss. Screw the rules, I whispered, tracing his stubble. Echo links about confessions. Make one. He did, in fragments. More stories from the journal, laughs over shared scars. By midnight, we parted with a kiss at the elevator, his hand lingering on my waist. Tomorrow, he promised, eyes dark with promise. But tomorrow brought storm clouds. Mornings at Hargrove were caffeine-fueled frenzy, and mine started with a ping from HR. Mandatory sensitivity training rescheduled due to recent incident. My stomach dropped. The video, it had leaked. Whispers turning to emails. The board circling like sharks. Worse. A memo from Alex, clipped and professional. All hands meeting, 10 a.m. Echo Link demo. No personal note, no spark. I told myself it was optics, but doubt gnawed as I filed into the auditorium, the same room where it had all imploded. He took the stage, magnetic as ever, pitching Echo Link's beta. A space to whisper truths without fear of the echo. The crowd applauded, but his eyes skipped mine, deliberate avoidance. My chest tightened. Had last night been a glitch? Post-demo, I cornered him in the green room. Alex, talk to me. What's wrong? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Damage control. The board spooked. Optics, they say. If word gets out about us or even the video, investors bolt. His voice cracked. I can't lose this, David. Not again. He said it, but the wall was back higher. So what? We pretend. For now. It stung like salt in a wound. He cupped my face, thumb brushing my lip. Not forever. Just survive this. I nodded, but as I walked away, the journal burned in my bag. A lifeline or a lie? The next weeks were exquisite torture. A tightrope over the Hudson's churning depths. By day, I was David's professional shell. Emails crisp, meetings punctual, sketches delivered with a nod that hid the tremor in my hands. Alex played the Titan, barking orders and sealing deals, but in stolen glances across the bullpen, I'd catch the hunger. The way his eyes traced my neckline when he thought no one watched. Nights, though, they were hours stolen in shadows. First came the texts. Innocuous at work, revise slide 7. Turning filthy after hours. Thinking about your mouth on that Thai night. Then the drives, him picking me up in his sleek Audi. Windows fogged as we parked in forgotten lots near the waterfront. Hands roaming until badges fogged the glass. God, David. He'd groan against my throat, teeth grazing. You're undoing me. I'd arch into him, whispering confessions that Echolink could only dream of. Fears of fading into obscurity. Dreams of a life beyond code and concrete. But the leak festered. A gossip site ran a blind item. Tech mogul's steamy slip-up? Is Hargrove's heart hacked? No names, but the timing screamed. Alex doubled down. Late nights in the office bleeding into dawn. His temper fraying like old denim. I'd linger, bringing coffee, our fingers lingering too long over the cup. One evening, as rain lashed the windows, he cracked. Jordan texted me last week. Out of nowhere. Saw the news. Miss you. I froze, mug halfway to my lips. What did you say? Nothing. Blocked him. But the shadow in his eyes said otherwise. Old wounds reopening. Trust eroding like Manhattan schist. He left because I chose the dream over us. Now history's rhyming. Don't let it, I urged, pulling him close. We ended up on the office couch that night, slow and deliberate, his body a map I memorized. The scar on his hip from a skateboarding wipeout, the tattoo on his ribs, code or die, inked in a haze of post-breakup rebellion. As he moved inside me, whispers turning to gasps, I felt the fracture heal, if only for those stolen hours. Echolink launched beta mid-November, a splashy event at a Soho loft, string lights and synth beats, influencers snapping selfies while Alex demoed the app on stage. I hovered at the edges, nursing a gin and tonic, pride swelling as users queued for downloads. Your designs made it sing, he murmured later, hand brushing my back in the crowd's camouflage. Then the other shoe dropped. Midway through, my phone buzzed. A screenshot from an anonymous source. The video, our video, uploaded to a shady forum, captioned Hargrove's dirty secret. My blood iced. Someone inside had leaked it fully. Panic rippled. Alex's face paled as his assistant shoved the phone at him. Meeting. Now. He vanished into a back room, board in tow. I paced the fringes, heart pounding, until a familiar voice slithered close. Quite the show, Ellis. Mark Riley, my supposed mentor, VP of marketing. Slick hair, sleazier grin. We'd clashed since day one. He poached my ideas, eyed me like fresh meat. You see this? He waved his phone. The video paused on Alex's kiss. Karma's a bitch. Or should I say, a twink? Rage boiled. You did this. He smirked, sipping his scotch. Prove it. Alex has been coasting on Daddy's trust fund vibes too long. Time for real leadership. Betrayal hit like a sucker punch. Mark, who'd greenlit my hires, now twisting the knife for a corner office. I stormed the back room, bursting in on chaos. Alex shouting into a phone, lawyers on speaker. David out, he barked, but I didn't budge. It's Mark, I spat. He leaked it. For the promotion. Silence fell heavy as lead. Alex's eyes met mine. Gratitude. Fury. Fear. Get security. Now. The fallout was biblical. Mark denied till the logs proved him. IP traces from his workstation. Forum posts timestamped during lunch. Fired on the spot. Escorted out in handcuffs when embezzlement surfaced. Skimming vendor fees. Petty but damning. The board rallied, praising Alex's decisive leadership. But the damage lingered. Echolink's downloads spiked. Scandal sells, but press hounded him. Is Hargrove gay? App's creator comes out. Sort of. He didn't confirm, didn't deny. Instead, he retreated, canceling our midnight drives. Texts going cold. I cornered him in the garage one sleeting night. Rain sheeting off my hood. Talk to me, damn it. We survived the leak. Together. He leaned against the Audi, soaked and shattered. It's not the video, David. It's me. Jordan called again, voicemail this time. Saw the clip. We could fix us. You and me, like before. His voice broke. He's poison, but part of me wonders if I'm the glitch. What if I drag you down too? I grabbed his collar, pulling him under the awning, our breaths mingling in steam. You're not. We're not. I kissed him fierce, tasting salt, rain or tears, I couldn't tell. Fight for this. For us. He clung, fists in my jacket, but whispered, I need time. Time. The thief that steals more than it gives. Days blurred into a gray November fog. Work became survival. I buried in redesigns, he in boardroom battles. Echolink trended, users pouring out stories, coming outs, heartbreaks that mirrored our own. One night, alone in my apartment, I drafted a confession for the app. I love a man who fears his own heart. Help me reach him. Posted anonymously, viral within hours. By morning, my inbox overflowed. Support, shares, and one private message. Alex. Saw your post. Echolink worked. I'm ready. Relief crashed over me like waves. That weekend, he showed at my door with takeout and the journal. Updated, fresh entries. David's sketches aren't just lines. They're lifelines. We cooked. Burnt garlic bread and all. Laughing till our sides ached. Then tumbled into bed, slow explorations turning urgent. Bodies sinking like flawless code. But peace was fleeting. December brought the holidays. Family pulls like undertows. My parents invite. Bring a friend, sweetie. Anyone. Code for straighten up. Alex's sister. Dinner in the Hamptons. Bring the guy who's making you smile again. We went separate, me to Jersey, Turkey and tense smiles. Him to the shore, waves crashing like unresolved chords. New Year's Eve, though, we claimed. Rooftop party in Brooklyn, fireworks blooming over the bridge. As the clock struck, he pulled me close amid the cheers. No more hiding, he vowed, slipping a key into my palm. His apartment, not just a night, but a maybe forever. Spring thawed the ice, but not without storms. Echolink exploded, millions of downloads, features in Wired and The Atlantic. The app that outed a CEO and saved his soul. Alex leaned in, granting interviews that danced around labels. Love's not a binary. It's an algorithm we rewrite daily. The world ate it up, stock soared, but privately he wrestled demons. Therapy sessions he hid in his calendar. Nights where he'd wake gasping from dreams of Jordan's ghost. I was his anchor, steady in the swells. Mornings tangled in his sheets. His place a loft in Tribeca, exposed brick and skyline views. We'd brew coffee strong as our silences, then talk. My fears of being the boyfriend who faded. His of repeating cycles. You're not him, I'd murmur, tracing the tattoo on his ribs. You're you, and that's enough. Yet conflict brewed elsewhere. The board, sensing blood, pushed a merger with a conservative VC firm, old money, old values. Synergy, they called it, but whispers of cleaning house reached me. Queer staff sidelined. Echolink's confessional core neutered for family-friendly appeal. Alex fought, voice rising in meetings. This isn't just code, it's lives. But pressure mounted, ultimatums veiled as advice. I saw the toll. His smiles thinning, scotch bottles emptying faster. One April evening, post-fight with the board, he came home reeking of defeat. They want me to sell out, tone it down, or step aside. Bullshit, I snapped, slamming cabinets harder than intended. You're the heart of this. Don't let them carve it out. He whirled, eyes flashing. Easy for you to say. You're not the one with everything on the line. Legacy, family name, the empire I bled for. The words landed like shrapnel. And I'm what? Collateral? The side project you regret when the shares dip. My voice cracked, old insecurities roaring. We danced around commitment. Keys exchanged. But no I love yous. No future sketched beyond next week's dinner. Alex recoiled, regret etching his face. David, no. He reached, but I jerked back. Save it. I grabbed my jacket, storming into the rain-slick streets, subway rattling me to my old apartment like a prodigal son. There, amid unpacked boxes and regrets, I drafted my resignation. Effective immediately, grateful for the opportunity, but personal conflicts necessitate. Dawn brought clarity or recklessness. I hit send, then opened Echolink, posting raw. Loved a man who chose walls over windows. Goodbye, empire. It went nuclear, retweets, DMs flooding. Support from strangers, fury from fans. By noon, my phone exploded. Alex, 47 missed calls. I met him at our spot, the pier under the Brooklyn Bridge, gulls wheeling overhead. He looked wrecked. Unshaven, shirt untucked, eyes red-rimmed. You quit. Because of me. Because of us? I corrected, arms crossed against the wind. I can't be the secret that erodes you, or the fool who stays while you sell your soul. He dropped to one knee. Not proposal but surrender, gripping my hands. I turned it down. The merger. Told the board. Echolink stays raw or I walk. With you. His voice trembled. David, I love you. Not as a glitch or a phase, as the code that fixed me. Tears stung, mixing with spray from the East River. Prove it. He did. Standing to pull me close. Kiss salt-kissed and fierce. Marry this mess? Build with me. Not just apps, but a life. Laughter bubbled through sobs. Yes. God, yes. Summer bloomed in Technicolor. We moved in fully. My sketches mingling with his journals on reclaimed wood shelves. Mornings of lazy blowjobs and burnt toast. Echolink evolved. Partnerships with LGBTQ+ orgs. Features for safe spaces. The board grumbled but bent. Alex's vision prevailed. Stocks dipping then soaring on authenticity's wave. Not all scars faded. Jordan resurfaced once. A letter, postmarked California. Saw the news. Proud of you. Be happy. Alex burned it unread. Ashes scattering in the wind. My family? A tentative dinner in Jersey. Mom's pie thawing Dad's gruff silences. He treats you right? That's what matters. Halloween brought full circle. A costume party at the office. Us as icons. Him Steve Jobs' turtleneck. Me the rainbow apple. Amid laughter and lights, he pulled me aside, slipping a box into my palm. Not a ring, but a custom remote. Sleek, engraved our channel. Inside, a USB drive, home videos, ours, candid laughs on rooftops, kisses in kitchen light. You gave me this, he said, echoing that first shattered moment. Now I give you everything. We danced till dawn, bodies pressed in the crowd, the city our witness. Betrayal's echo faded, replaced by harmony. A love coded not in zeros and ones, but in the messy human in-betweens. In the end, it wasn't the remote that changed everything. It was the man who handed me his heart, broken remote and all. And in the American dream's grand, flawed algorithm we debugged our way to forever.